How's it going, everybody? This is Aaron the Pedantic. So I am doing a video today in response to Black Lodge Games. They did a series, I guess like two live stream videos where they were talking about how the OSR just does not get backstories or story and all that kind of stuff. I would like to extend an invitation to Black Lodge Games if you would ever like to, do a live stream where we discuss this stuff. And I think it's more constructive to just talk back and forth because then we can, kind of like chisel everything down to getting to the essence of what we actually believe. Because a lot of times, whenever we're just kind of throwing things out there together, especially when we agree, we don't have to go into any kind of depth. We're already on the rough same wavelength, and it just makes it where you're just not really getting as much from it, I don't think. And I also don't think that doing the kind of blood sports where I'm like breaking down every little thing they say and then saying, well, here's why you're stupid because of that. I think that that's good for clicks. It's good for channel growth, but I don't care about that stuff anymore. So I just like talking about ideas. And in this case, I watched their videos and I thought that they're wrong about a few things, and I just wanted to give my correct opinion, right? In this case, one of the things that they were talking about is how if you were doing if you're playing a role playing game and you are playing your character without having a backstory, then you are going to end up role playing very poorly. In fact, you might not even be role playing at all. You might be just reacting using some of your most passive traits. You're just not going to be actually role playing. Now, I'm going to say this: there are probably people where this is true. There are probably people where this is true. So that needs to be acknowledged first and foremost. It's probably true for some people. And there are some games where that is perfectly fine. To the Black Lodge Games individuals, to them that is degenerate, not good stuff. So, that's their opinion. I think that I'm just gonna go ahead and say it off the cuff. I don't have any problem with people playing the game as a game and just wanting to do the treasure hunting and stuff. Black Lodge Games says, well, you should probably just play a board game at that point. To me, I would say, well, there's a very substantial difference between what we're doing as role playing as a role playing game versus what you do as a board game. And I say that because I play board games too. And there's a reason where I would choose one or the other, even if we weren't going into the real deep character stuff or the real deep world stuff. There is a reason for it. Okay. So I'm just going to start with that. But really, the meat of it is that even if you don't have a backstory, you can very effectively role play a character in a way that is satisfying and consistent, and then grows over time and becomes something really awesome. So how do you do this? Well, you do this by really just kind of, first off, you just kind of need to have some experience role playing. You need to have taken the time to develop that skill, and the way that you do that is just by playing, but you need to play a specific way. You need to play in a way where you are thinking about these implications. So there's a video by Matt Colville where he has like capital R role playing and lowercase r role playing, and really what he highlights there is that there's the separation between player and character, in a way that you are doing what your character would do and not what you the player would do, right? So that is role playing in essence. I think there is still kind of like a middle ground where you are playing the character, but you're willing to change the character a little bit here and there in order to get the better outcome with what your goals are as a table or as a player or whatever. That's kind of like a bastard R role playing, I guess you could say. And I think that that's probably a whole nother discussion, but really what we end up with is that if you are making choices as the character, you have to have an idea of who the character is, and that the more you do this, the more you're gonna develop your skills for improvisation, that you can just kind of like come up with a trait for your character and then go from there. And really, what is a character sheet other than a list of traits? There are a lot of things that you can get from your character sheet. So if you're talking about first edition AD&D, than just being a level 1 fighter. There's a lot of stuff that comes from that. I could mention the whole title level system, but a lot of people have pointed out that the title levels from level to level often has kind of contradictory things and things that really don't make a whole lot of sense under certain situations, and that it seems more like it's just kind of cool flavoring and stuff like that. I will say though that I think that usually the first and last titles that you get, or at least very specific ones, often are significant. And those are the ones that are marked by mechanics that are behind them, I would say. And so to give an example, I'm going to say that for the fighter, the fact that level 1, you are a veteran. Okay. So being a veteran, now we could say that means that you were in the army, of the king, for instance, of the kingdom that you are from. I don't think that we have to go that far necessarily, but it does mean that you have been through war or battles. You've been through battles. The reason that this is a thing is that you are a level 1 fighter. That is something that is beyond a normal human. Like a 0 level normal human, even if they have a hit die of HP. You are beyond that. So if you look at the different types of men in the monster manual, they pretty much are going to not have any kind of class, or they're going to have a hit die and have certain traits involved. And in all circumstances, your bandits, your basic soldiers, they are less than your fighter. They are less than your fighter. Your fighter at level 1 is better than them. That means that they are experienced in war. They are better than everyone else is, who's not beyond that level, basically. So that is significant. That tells you a lot about that character. And then just getting to know a little bit about the world that you are playing in is going to fill in a ton of blanks. You really get the same thing with like the magic user. I'm a level 1 magic user. I had to learn the magic from somewhere. Where do magic users learn their magic in this kind of world? And that's going to answer a ton of questions. Using the stuff that's in the DMG and, the inspiration that I do with the kind of world that I create, it means that you have a relationship with a patron who has taught you the arcane arts, taking you as an apprentice, more or less. So you have a built-in relationship as a character, and that's actually probably going to inform the starting spells that you have. There are a lot of things that you can do that a lot of DMs probably don't consider. A lot of players may not consider either, but there's just a ton there that you can work with. And really, the important thing is that whatever you get from a backstory or from traits or whatever, that it's relevant to the game, right? It's relevant to whatever the activity is that you're doing at the table, whatever role playing you are trying to do. And the kind of role playing that you're trying to do with D&D, it doesn't necessarily have to be, we are just dungeon crawling all the time. We go back to the city, then we go back to the dungeon, we go back to the city, we go back to the dungeon. We're doing that all the time. It doesn't necessarily have to be that. There's no reason why it needs to be. But no matter how you slice it, there are very few situations when you are playing a fantasy adventure game where it's really going to matter what happened to your parents or that kind of thing. It can matter, but you can use a trait to pull that instead. And then you can you can get these things as you go without any great difficulty. I mean, even in a lot of the fantasy novels that you have out there that we read, there are characters that are interesting, even without us knowing anything about their past, even without us knowing why they make some of the decisions they make, like how their past shaped that. Because we are products of nature and nurture, right? We have some things that are imbued based off of our genetics, and we have other things. We have the interaction of our genetics and our social environment, and our environment overall, our experiences, right? But really what it all boils down to is the traits. It ends up being at these things that kind of we can use to decide how we are that inform how we react to this thing or that thing, right? And we can get there by cutting out the middleman. And that's the thing that I think that I would like to say, is that we don't really need the backstory as long as we know what our character's traits are. And I mean, you may play in games where people want to opine as their character about how they got to inherit that trait, how they ended up being this kind of person. And that's fine if that's what you want to do, but it's just not, it's not always necessary. And maybe it's not even desirable in some games. I guess that's kind of where I wanted to go with that. This might be an ongoing conversation, but I would like to hear what the rest of you all out in the YouTube lands have to say about the matter. Do you feel that a backstory is 100% necessary? Do you think that traits can, take the place of it, at least in the games that you play? Or do you think that we're all stupid and we should be disregarding those things and just be, just pillage the dungeon, damn it, let us know in the comments. Looking forward to hearing what y'all have to say. Y'all take it easy.